Okay, everybody, welcome back to the bench. Today we are going to be working on our Sig P320 DH3. Very, very nice gun, the Dan Horner edition. As you can see, it is empty. We have no mag. We have no rounds. Okay. We're going to be putting, I believe we're going to be putting the Vortex Defender ST on here. I do have two optics available to me, and I think I'll do another video on this optic in particular. This is the Vortex Venom enclosed. I'll be putting this one on the Sig Spectre Comp, which is one of the guns I like very, very much. This one in particular, like I said, this is the Vortex Venom enclosed, brand new in the box from Vortex. Great little optic. I love my enclosed optics, but unfortunately I wanted to keep it tan for the DH3, and I'll be getting an X300 here and putting that on in another video as well. But the only optic that Vortex had available in the tan, unfortunately, was not enclosed, but it's the Vortex Defender ST, which is this optic. This is a Delta Point Pro footprint, which is also what comes standard on the bigger Sig models. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and put this on and get it dialed in as far as bore sighting it goes, and we'll take it out, have a couple of shots with it a little bit later on, and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, let's get started. There we go. So what I'm thinking about, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the slide off, because it's going to be much easier to manage with the slide off. Okay. Better watch that spring. There we go. All right. Now I'll tell you right now that these screws are Loctited in there with blue Loctite from the factory, from Sig. So it's very, very important that you go slow, use deliberate pressure, and that way you don't do what I just did just now. You don't strip that screw out. That one might be a little bit better to use. There we go. So using the correct star bits, or any bit for that matter, whether it's an Allen, whether it's a hex, or whatever it may be, using the right one is crucially important, so you don't strip out your screws, because that's the last thing that I want to do, is strip a screw out and then have to drill into this piece so that it'll come out. All right, now that we have that off, I'm going to go ahead and wipe that down a little bit, set that off to the side, and let's get our optic ready. So once again, this is the Vortex Defender ST. Great little optic. I actually have one that you probably saw in a previous video on my Sig M18. Great little optic. Cool thing about Vortex, and full transparency, I paid for this with my own money. So this is nobody sent this to me for free. Vortex comes with multiple screws and screw options for multiple different guns. That one down there happens to be Glock, Ruger, and Springfield. This one is H&K and Kimber. I want to say I just passed down a Smith & Wesson. So this one is Canik TP9, Sig P320, M17, M18, and RXP, and this one is the CZ P10. So this is the one we're going to go ahead and try to find the correct screws. Another cool thing about Vortex is they offer optics plates, okay, adapter plate kit. So this is the DPP adapter plate kit with the screws for the Walther PDP which is blowing my mind right now because I've been looking for an adapter plate for the Walther PDP for the longest time. My Walther PDP is tan, and I may pause this video and put it on my PDP instead. We'll wait and see what it looks like. So another cool thing about Vortex is that they come with the Picatinny rail adapter plates as well. So if you have a let's say a Smith & Wesson FPC, one of those folding 9 mils, the little rifles, this would go really well on there. It would fit on there. If you had a side Picatinny for an AR, let's say for instance, you know, a canted Picatinny, and you wanted to put this on there, that would, you know, so you can dial in your AR for close quarters, and if you had an LPVO on there or whatever, that would be something worth looking at. So in this case, this is I believe this is a direct fit. Yep, there we go. Just had to get it past that little plastic piece. So this is a direct fit on the Sig P320 DH3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this off and prepare it. I'm going to set this off to the side because that is very interesting to me right now. And oops, I don't want to get off track. I just hit the camera a little bit. So let me grab a little tool here out of my toolbox. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little thing off here. So since I'm wearing gloves, I mostly work in gloves, mainly because I don't like, it's not that I don't like getting dirty. Getting dirty is part of the job. It's mainly because getting dirty and handling different things is kind of a hassle. So it's easier for me to just fork out the money for a pair of gloves, and when I'm done, have semi-clean hands and wash them off when I get inside the house. Okay, moving on. I'm going to take this little plate off right here, and I'm going to activate the battery. Now the battery is already inside here. Vortex does a really good job of putting the battery in there. So the reason why I took the battery off was because this little blue tab right here will lift the clear tape that is on the battery right here, that little thing, preventing the battery from being used so you don't run down the battery. So now that that's off, I'm going to go ahead and replace that in there, put that back in there and line it up. There we go. Get her all lined up and screw it right back down. Just going to snug it. Now it's not on, it doesn't automatically come on. So I want to say, I believe with the Defender ST, there we go. So I believe it is a hold. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see that it is on. So now we come to the screws, and I like to do a mock-up before I decide to screw everything in there. And there's a reason for that, because the reason being is because number one, I want to make sure the screws are going to align right and proper. So that one's a good one. And the only one left in there that is as long as that, I believe, is this guy right here. That's a good one. Okay. The rest of these guys are going to go back into the pouch. And what I'm going to do next, I'll probably do it off camera, maybe I'll do it on camera. But I'm going to get this finished up first, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab this plate. So this says Glock MOS adapter, okay? But it's got a spine right down the middle of it. Depending on how this lines up, this may very well line up with the Walther PDP. If it doesn't, then it's just for the Glock Gen 6s, so be it. Screw length is 6mm, so we'll see. So I may do that after. But what I'm going to do now is find the correct hex head for this, which is this guy right here. Take these out. Drop this bad boy back in there, just like that. And screw it down in there. So I'm going to get that one started, about halfway done. I'm going to get this guy started and go about halfway done. Okay, there we go. That guy's tight. A couple more turns. That guy's tight. So one of the most important things that I'm going to do here today is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my torque wrench. Okay, for optics like this, I try not to go super hard on optics like this. So this torque wrench will go from 10 inch-pounds to 70 inch-pounds. I'm going to go to about, let's say 15, maybe one more. I'm going to go about 18 inch-pounds, okay? So I'm going to go 18 inch-pounds, get it on here. There we go. There we go. Easy as that, okay? It's very important that you torque down your screws. Manufacturers will put specifications on their screw specs for however many inch-pounds they want their product torqued to, and that is very important that you follow that, because they do a lot of research on this, and they do a lot of testing, and that's how they come to determine what inch-pounds, you know, of torque is optimal for this specific optic, this specific item, and that's how they determine that. And what makes them determine that is their extensive testing. How is this going to stay on? How is this going to work? At what, the research and development department, at what poundage is this going to fly off the handle, and at what poundage is this going to, break? Is your torque going to break? So now that we're back on, we're back in here. We're going to go ahead and put her back on, log her back. Okay. Flip the switch, and there we go. Okay. So now we are back on. A little bit of excess grease there. Clean this after the last time I shot it, and I put quite a bit of lube on here, so I don't know when the next time I was going to shoot it. So there we have it. Vortex Defender ST on the Sig P320 DH3, the Dan Horner edition. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my bore sight. I do have a bullet bore sight, and we're going to set it up, and we're going to do some adjustments to it and get her dialed in, and I'll cut you back on for that. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my little red dot, my barrel bore sight right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, since this is my small vise, I'm going to look down my optic and match up my red dot with my bore sight. Okay, so what's going to happen is I don't want my red dot exactly over the top of the bore sight red dot. Okay, because that's gonna make me shoot high, or actually, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be shooting low. Okay, so what I want is that red dot just a little bit above my bore sight. Okay, so when I'm aiming at the range, or whatever I'm aiming at, I want to aim a little bit high. That way that will hit A zone every single time. So most of these, and actually a lot of these that I found with, especially with Vortex, is they're zeroed out of the box. So, or they're close to it. So you have to make relatively minor adjustments to zero it. So that's what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and look, let's see where we're at and give us a couple of adjustments and we should be good to go. So I'm just a little bit off to the right. And actually height-wise, I'm about where I want to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust over here on this side. Excuse my head while I try to find where the slot is, so I can make my adjustments here. So some adjustments will be moving me left, some adjustments will be moving me right. It's just going to depend on where we're at. Oh, that's why. Okay, now that we got our reference for our adjustment. All right, what's going on here? Let's move this over here to there. There we go. Can I not see that? Always make sure your eyes are in good condition. Or you could just get a really, really tiny screwdriver and do it with that too. So these things out of the box, the tools they give you out of the box are really, really good tools. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's just better to use my own stuff. There we go. Okay. So minor adjustments, just I moved the dot so the dot was a little over this way. Height-wise was really good. So I just moved it over a little bit this way. And just to double check here, we are one right above the other. So this distance to the wall over here underneath the flag is about 25 feet, give or take, about a foot. So it's about 25 feet. So what we're looking at, if we do the calculation, we're looking at a zero of about, I would say, 21 feet being 7 yards. So a little over 7 yards, maybe 8 to 9 yards, 8 yards on the zero. That's where we're at. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out to the range and give this a test drive, see what, see where we're at and how good we're shooting. And we'll come back and we'll give our thoughts on the Vortex DH3 combination.